This lady is discussing why she doesn't want to have anything to do with any man anymore. Reason being that men are hurtful with no remorse. Let's go ahead and watch this video together and we'll talk about it.
Hey y'all, I really don't like getting serious on TikTok and I really do not like long videos, but this is just something that's been weighing on my heart and my mind for a couple weeks. A couple weeks ago, something happened to me within a relationship and it really just opened my eyes as to like how hurtful men are. I've known that for quite some time, but it's like men are so hurtful with no remorse. No care in the world, like they don't give a fuck. And it's just becoming a little much for me. Last night was the nail in the coffin though. I'm not doing a story time because I'm just not gonna do that. But men are just so hurtful and it's like I no longer have a desire to get in a relationship. I no longer have the desire to get married. Damn near about to give up on my dreams of becoming a mom one day. Like, I can't deal with it anymore, you guys. And I know y'all gonna be like, oh, take a break. I took a break all this year. I done read the self-help books. I done watched Shira 7. It's like, I actually want the love. I don't want to, you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to use a man for money. Like, don't want to just use him for what he can do for me, even though that's what they do to us. I just don't want to do that. It should not be this difficult. It's like I'm not trying to have a disdain for men. I'm not trying to be a misandrist. I'm not trying to H-word men again, but it's like, how could you not? They are so hurtful. They are disrespectful, disloyal, rude, selfish. Think about nobody but themselves. And I'm sure there are some good men out there. I met one before. One. You guys are going to say, oh, maybe it's you. Because I know the men are going to come in and just put it all back on me. They're going to completely dismiss my feelings and put it back on me. I'm used to it. I'm the one actually in therapy working through things and stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? Having to go to therapy for people who won't go to therapy or who don't see any wrong in their behavior. God, I can't do it no more, you guys. I don't wanna be involved with men anymore. So I think it's just time for me to just really focus on myself 103,000%. Like really just strictly lock in on everything that I want to do. Everything I want to do. I don't have time for the games. I don't have time to get my heart broken again. I don't have time to be pulling up on you. Like, I don't have time to be finding addresses and stuff like that anymore. I don't have time, but I can't take it anymore, you guys. It took everything in me last night not to cry, but it's like, I feel defeated. Y'all got it.
I totally understand what she's saying. I totally understand her. Like, I got what she's saying. Let me know your thoughts about this down in the comment section. By the way, her hair, beautiful. When you give men so many chances and you try to see maybe it is not all that bad, but what you keep getting is the bad. At a point, you're going to give up. And this is the point where she is. She's like, they are so hurtful and with no remorse. Like they're not even seeing problem. They're not even seeing anything. They don't see that they have a problem. You know, when you are doing something wrong to somebody and you're not seeing that it's a biggie, you're seeing that as a normal thing, that is even a problem on its own. That is you doing something like, get over it. Like, what's the point? You know, with no remorse. I totally understand that. I totally get her. Let me know your thoughts about this video down in the comment section. I have interesting stitches to share with you all. So let's sit down and watch the stitches together. At the end of all the stitches, I will share my own opinion.
It really just opened my eyes as to like how hurtful men are.
So I learned this lesson last year, and it's one I recommend everyone learn sooner rather than later. Just yesterday, a friend called me having a panic attack in her car because her boyfriend had called her an hour before and said that he loved her, all of these nice things, and that his family can't wait to meet her for Thanksgiving. An hour and a half later, and this is no exaggeration on the timeline, called her back and said that he's a high value man and that he can do better than her, but she will never be able to do better than him, and that it's over, and then hung up before she could even say anything. I've had friends where their date will leave in the middle of the date while they're in the bathroom. I've had friends whose boyfriends will break up with them on their birthday, on days of death, on graduation, boyfriends taking other girls on their birthday trip. And this is just the last year. This is just 2023. Personally, when this happened to me, I decided that I was going to take the next year to not date anybody, and it was the best decision that I could have ever made for myself. I accomplished every single goal that I had this year. Just bought a new car, about to move into a beautiful apartment, happiest I've ever been, more peace than I've ever felt. I'm surrounded by so many different types of love that I don't really feel like anything's missing. And that's not to say that I'll never date again. I'm literally sure that I will. But as a girl who has high standards and values, you cannot vet for a man blindsiding you. I consider myself like very like in the know, and it happened to me. Even looking back now, I'm like, I could have never predicted that. Be careful, invest in yourself. Just invest in yourself. The right person will come along, but be very picky. Do not let everybody just date you. It is not worth it. It is not worth your peace. It is not worth your time. Don't do it.
But it's like men are so hurtful with no remorse.
She is not lying. Y'all, when I say I've been in no contact with men for almost 2 years now, and I know it's hard to believe, but I haven't been talking to nobody. I haven't been having nothing. Like, it's literally been just me trying to lock in. And if you watch her whole video, you will see towards the end, she said, oh, I'm just going to lock in and focus on me 100%, lock in what I want to do. I encourage women to do exactly that. It is lonely. Coming from someone who, hasn't been in the dating world in a minute. You guys, I can't even remember the last time I've been on a date, a proper date at that. I can't remember the last time I actually had the wow factor when it came to a man. I've literally just been focusing on me. And I'm not going to lie, I recently just tried to put myself back out on a dating scene. However, that didn't work. And it just opened my eyes to like, yeah. No, I'm not I don't want to play the games that these men are playing these days. I just don't want to do it. And I'm such a sweet girl. I stand behind who I am. I'm a genuine person, and I'm very generous. And I'm a lover girl. I'm not a city girl. I don't want to be handout, asking men to do this. I don't want to use a man for the money. I'm not a part of that, and I'm not ashamed to say it. That is not me. Okay? I'm not one of those girls. I want the love. I do. And because I want the love, I gotta, understand what comes with that. So that means, okay, I might have to wait a little longer. I might gotta just sit down, focus on me, focus on what I do, and just wait till the right one comes along. Because playing these games with these men these days, it's just not cutting it. They don't care about what you got going on in your life. They don't care about, what you really have to offer. They only focus on one thing, and we know what that is. And then they don't have the decency to even speak up and say, hey, right now isn't the time, or I'm just not feeling you. They just act like they ain't got no feelings, act like they don't give a I can't do it. And it's very, very hurtful. It really is, coming from someone who, like I said, I'm very, genuine. I have real feelings for whoever I call myself talking to at the time. So when someone disrespects me or plays in my face, I kind of take offense to it. But now that I am this healed version of myself, it's no longer my loss. And it could be that, some guys just don't want to deal with you and they just would rather deal with someone else. And by all means, baby, if you ain't treat me right, I'd rather you go over there and not talk to me at all if that's the case. But it is hurtful because it's like, man, like, I know who I am. I know what I bring to the table. So at the end of the day, it's your loss, not mine. Always, 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 ladies, please, 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 I really do encourage y'all to just focus on yourself. If you see a life that you want for yourself and you know that is attainable without a man, go get it. Go get it. Because, baby, one thing about these men gonna fall in line. And that's where I'm at with it. I don't have a desire to be in a real relationship until I am at a space in my life where I need to be so I can attract the man that I want, if you get what I'm saying. I'm not out here trying to find a man to put me in a better position. Baby, I can do that on my own. It might take me a little longer, but I'm going to get it. You feel me? Because playing these games, it just doesn't work for me. So my advice to anyone who, is dealing with the whole dating thing, number one, take some time off and heal. I'm not gonna lie, these past 2 years that I've been on this healing journey has been amazing for me. Like, I've learned so much about myself. I'm at a place where I don't, have to talk to someone. And even just then, I just put myself out there and it didn't work. But guess what? I'm not hurt about it, because at the end of the day, I know who I am and I know what I bring to the table, and I know I'm not finna settle for bullshit. I'm just not. Or disrespect, or nobody that doesn't really want to mess with me or be with me on that type of level. If you don't want to be with me, if you don't want to mess with me, bye, go on by your business. I'm not gonna sit here and beg. I'm not sitting here with my hand out. I'm just not doing that. So yeah, ladies, lock in on what you want to do. Get the life you deserve. I'm telling you, these men gonna fall right in line.
But it's like, men are so hurtful with no remorse.
So this summer, I read Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents, and something that this creator said in her video reminded me of this book. It talks about the difference between internalizers versus externalizers. So the men that are super hurtful with no remorse that she's speaking about in her video are the externalizers. And instead of, like a normal person, internalizing your anxiety and pain, depression, they act it out and they push it onto other people. When they have to face the consequences of their actions, they usually use denial to avoid those feelings of shame. As a result of that denial, they repeatedly feel these hits of low self-worth and a sense of feeling bad. But to avoid total self-hatred, they rid themselves of shame by blaming other people, making excuses, and blaming external factors. So the reason why these people never grow is because as soon as that shame hits, they need to immediately feel better by shifting the blame onto someone else. And the only way to grow and learn and feel peace is by addressing that trauma that's so built up, sitting with the discomfort and learning from it. But because these people are essentially running from themselves, they will never do that. So please, if it's one thing that you take from this video, do not take another person's destructive behavior towards you personally, because I promise you they are just acting out what they feel inside, which is chaos.
But it's like, men are so hurtful with no remorse.
Please go back and watch her whole video, because literally felt relatable. I understand how she feels. A lot of these men really don't care. They will take you through the ringer, say and do horrible things to you. They do not care. They don't have any remorse. And when you're looking at them with tears in your eyes, crying like, dang, like, how could you do something like this to me? They're looking back at you like, what you mean? What you talking about? I'm not doing anything to you. They literally do not care. In her video, she talks about a lot of things that I talk about on my page. I'm going through healing. I'm trying to be mindful of the red flags. I'm working on myself. And you can do all these things and still run into a person who has ill intentions for you. It's easier to spot red flags and easier to be like, let me go ahead and dismiss this because it's not what I want or it's not right. But to be in a situation with someone, and once you're on the other side of that situation, realize that that person had bad intentions for you from the jump, that is so difficult to swallow. And they don't see any wrong in what they're doing. So I can understand how she's saying, like, I don't want to date no more. I can't do this anymore, because at a certain point, it's like you don't even have the capacity to take another heartbreak. You just do not have the capacity to continue dealing with BS. You don't have the capacity to trust. You don't have the capacity to open up. It becomes really, really hard. And men and women alike sometimes will be like, well, what you doing? It's on you. No, some people are just evil. Some people just have terrible intentions. Some people just do not know how to do the right thing, and they don't care, and they will wreak havoc all over your life. All we can do is try our best to avoid it, but that becomes hard because some of these dudes are crafty. They are crafty. It is so hard. At one point this year, I dealt with a dude like that. We went through a lot. And he, no remorse, he don't care. And I'm like, every time I try to disassociate and move on, here you come trying to come back. Like what is your problem? You don't care about me, but you want to keep being around me, keep talking to me, keep having access to me. What? Listen, go back and watch her video. It's hard out here, ladies. And I can understand any woman who will say, I cannot do this no more. I do not have the capacity, the wherewithal, the strength to date and entertain men no more. I get it. You gotta do what's best for you at the end of the day. And if dating and entertaining these dudes ain't working out for you, abort mission, leave it alone. Do what brings you peace, happiness, and joy. Put yourself first.
I've known that for quite some time, but it's like men are so hurtful with no remorse.
Okay, y'all, so I just wanted to speak a little bit to what she was saying in this video, because it is true. Like, as somebody who has dating horror stories for literally days, guys are starting to get a little bit more evil with the way they do things. And by all means, I'm not a misandrist, like she was saying in the video. I think men are awesome. I've had some great men in my life. But truly, there is something about the way that guys go about things nowadays that it's really hurtful. And it does make me feel like marriage will never be a thing for me. And if you know me, I love marriage. But like, I don't know if it'll be a thing, because some of the things that the guys do are just so unhinged. And by all means, I'm not perfect, but like, one thing that I love that she said in the video is like, I'm not perfect, but I'm going to therapy. I'm writing in my journals. I'm trying to heal. And I just feel like guys don't do that, and then everything is now put on us. And I'm tired of it, and it is exhausting.
But it's like men are so hurtful with no remorse.
Yes, this is true for the majority of men. Coming from a woman in my 40s, I've dealt with lots of men over the years. They never cease to amaze me with the games and the lies and the fuckery. Once you think you know men and you know how to navigate the games, then they come with something else, where you think this guy is a good guy and he shows you something else. He shows you he's a devil. So that's just what it is. I don't know what to tell you. That's why so many lesbians in the world, because we're sick. Not we, I'm not a lesbian, but they're sick of how unemotional men can be, how hurtful and everything. And, men are definitely selfish and they're going to get theirs. A lot of times all they marry for is the benefits. So, a woman, they say they don't care about a woman's money and things like that, but they do. They care about the status, and they're not going to marry for love, most of them. They're going to marry for how you look on my arm, what you can do for me. So, just be aware, especially you young girls. I don't know, it's rough out here.
A couple weeks ago, something happened to me within a relationship, and it really just opened my...
This is very much a these boys ain't kind of conversation. However, let me caveat that with explaining the advice that I'm going to talk about and I gave my friend is based on the fact that I've just spent a week traveling, loving life, but being with different couples. So I started off in Huddersfield with a couple that have a baby that's going to be 2. Then went on to Sheffield with a couple that haven't got married yet and don't have a baby yet, and obviously different dynamics. And then finished off in Barcelona with a couple that have a baby and the baby's newborn, a few months old, and then travelled back through Dublin on my own, and obviously I've had some time to reflect. So seeing these people in different phases of their lives and different phases of their relationship, I think I'm really lucky to be in the perspective of I can be an outsider looking at things, just going, okay, I can see it for what it is. So my friend had her phone stolen, and this is the one in Barcelona, and it was a really traumatic thing that happened. But this again is a new mum, like I've said, so there were loads of things going on that weren't just about to do with the phone, but it was her private space was someone just grabbed the phone. Now her partner had said, I'm going to buy you a phone, and I'm going to buy you a new one. Which one do you want? And she was like, no, all the stuff that's happened, it's my fault. You just give me a hand-me-down. And in the room with both of them, I was like, absolutely not. She's going to take that phone. She's really going to appreciate it. And on behalf of her, thank you for offering to do that. Because the one thing I've realised is, like I said, this is a these boys ain't shit kind of conversation. And I'm not saying all men are bad. I'm not saying all men will let you down. I'm just saying from my experience and from seeing the way that society works around me and my family and friends, the women in my life, including me, have been brought up to think about other people first, to be people pleasers, to do all these things that as time goes on, you end up starting to resent people without realising that you're starting to resent people for the little things. And I think when you are a strong, independent woman, and I have very much said I've retired from that. Don't get me wrong, I know I can do everything myself. I know I can provide for myself. But I made it a point this year, and I said it even on this page, I was going to start being uncomfortable and accepting help from my brother, my dad, G. Those 3 people, because I know they love me so much. But I also know that there are going to be times some things will happen that are going to make me uncomfortable, that are going to make me feel hurt, like maybe I've not been seen, heard, put first, those types of things, when that's what I feel like I tried to do for them. And I'd said to her, you have had this man's child, this man is trying to provide for you in a way that he can do that, and you say no, there are going to be other things that he maybe might not be able to do for you, that you turn around and you're like, that resentment starts and you don't realise it's going. But in accepting help, it might be something small right now, but in the future it'll be conversations you're having where you're starting to really talk about what's going on in your mind, the things that are starting to hurt you. So yes, as much as men can be terrible, society is actually, I feel like, taught us as women to just not expect anything from anyone, especially men. Whereas now I'm like, stuff that. They've been taught to be, I guess the word is selfish, to put themselves first, to put their happiness first, which is completely fine. If we were taught to do that, we'd do that first. I'm trying to do that now, and I'm absolutely loving life. I'm the happiest I've ever been. I'm not trying to hurt anyone. I'm not trying to do things in a selfish way where it's like, stuff you. There's always a balance between that. So with everyone that watches this, make sure you take help from men, from other people. Take what you can. Obviously, focus on your self-love, yourself, and everything that you're doing. But even when you are in a relationship or when you find people that you do care about, because at the end of the day, things can end. Things always end in some kind of way. So take what you can from every relationship and make sure you don't leave something feeling like you've given your everything and not really got anything back. Because sometimes something like a little iPhone is going to make you happy even if it's for a few days. You're going to be like, happy days, I can take nice pictures. Do it.
I've known that for quite some time, but it's like men are so hurtful with no
remorse for absolutely no reason at all. Like, you're just going out of your way to be nice to them and love them and treat them kindly, and they go out of their way to literally fuck you over. It's literally so weird. I will never understand it. But like, go to her comment section. Go to her comment section. There are thousands of women in there talking about how they're just tired. They're done. They're so tired of dealing with the same type of men. And then people will come into her comment section and probably my comment section as well and say, oh, it's you. And, oh, just because you had one bad guy doesn't mean every guy's that way. And it's like, it's not every guy. It's literally ever since I started dating. I'm almost 40. I started dating when I was, 14 was my first love. And even him, that motherfucker did me so dirty that I still haven't recovered from that. It should be a Susie stitch how dirty that guy did me. We'll call him Connor for the purposes of the story. Connor was so beautiful. We went to junior high together. We talked on the phone every single day. He was in love with me to the point where other people could tell that Connor was in love with me. And so back in the day when I was in junior high, the big thing were those Burger King Rugrat watches. And everyone wanted to get a Tommy watch, and you could never get it because it was like the hardest one to get. And he came back from Christmas break, and he had gotten me a Tommy watch. And that's when I knew. I was like, I love this man. So we continued talking on the phone all summer, everything or whatever. I'm actually moving away out of state like that fall. And we go to this football game. It's like homecoming or something like that. And he ends up being like, nope, nobody else can come over. I just want Desi to come over. And so I came over, we watched movies, we watched The Little Mermaid, we made food, we hung out at his room, and then we were intimate. It was my first time. And I wake up and this guy is on the floor with his back towards me. He won't talk to me. He won't say anything. I'm literally about to leave the state, and I've never seen him since that happened, but I knew that was going to happen. And he just totally ignored me and literally broke my heart. His older sister gave me a ride home, and I left to another state. And he never apologized. He never did anything. They do you so dirty for no reason. And I cannot. I don't think I have anything left in me to give. I think so many women have nothing left in them to give any of y'all. So I don't know how this whole relationship and dating thing is going to go anymore, because fuck, I'm tired. I'm done. I feel you. Same, girl. Same.
It really just opened my eyes as to how hurtful men are.
And she's not lying, because one of the biggest lessons that I take from the men that surround me, like coworkers,
my male best friend, just men that I've been around just growing up throughout the years, is that they always put themselves first. Whatever makes them happy, they're going to do it and not think about anybody else and how it affects them. They're going to do whatever best serves them in that moment, as we all should. A lot of them learn their lessons the first time. They're not giving out second chances because they know the way that they think. If they did something, they wanted to do it and they're not sorry about it. So they feel that same way about you and cut you off the first time. And they know it's wrong because they don't want you to do it back to them. That's the worst part about it all. So in short, love yourself more than you love the idea of being in a relationship with them. Put yourself first. Don't bend on your rules. Don't go back on your word because they're not. Don't take them back because they're not going to take you back if you make a mistake and leave your.
And it really just opened my eyes as to like how hurtful men are.
I felt this video in my soul as somebody who considers myself to be pretty smart, pretty self-aware. I am wrong about men a lot. And the smarter I think I get and better at reading people, it's always 2 steps forward, 5 steps back. And I think part of it is that, and again, in this video, she says, there's some good men around, right? But I think the issue is the vetting process, which I saw somebody else who stitched this video say, you can't vet when a man is going to blindside you. And that is such a true thing because you can get to know somebody and you can spend months getting to know someone. And because of the way that men can sometimes really compartmentalize their personalities and emotions, you know what I mean? So that things don't come up and some things are repressed. But when certain things get turned on, you don't know how vicious that will be. And you can be talking to somebody for months on end and hanging out with someone for months on end, and you will not see that part that's actually really, really dangerous to you until it's too late. And it's something that it feels like you can't get wise enough to escape it. I don't know. And you can I am consistently shocked at how wrong I can be. And it feels pretty impossible to vet for that.
And it really just opened my eyes as to how hurtful men are. I've known
one word, guys, and that word is reverence. Any man that comes into your life must look at you and feel what is called reverence. That is one thing that you must insist on, and that reverence can only come from self-respect. When I say reverence, guys, I mean fear. A man must look at you and feel fear, but not whoa, fear, but fear as in he looks at you and he knows for a second that he doesn't have the liberty to try and mess you about because of the self-respect that you're projecting from yourself and the standards that you have. A girl said, you can either have standards or you can have a man, but you can't have both. But my question to that is, why can't you have both? And then just completely kick him out your life the second he tries to behave questionably or compromise your standards. I completely understand. I too used to think, oh my God, men are getting completely treacherous. They're getting so hard to recognize through the nasty and hurtful things that they're doing to us, yeah? But then I also had an epiphany that, hold on, a man can only mess you about for as much as you genuinely allow him to. If a man is not compatible with your environment, you can literally leave. You can leave. You can walk away. What's stopping you guys from walking away? But I understand it requires a psychological discipline to truly walk and stay away from a man, especially with all these tricks that they try to do on you to get you back or to beg you and say everything that you want to hear. But just understand that those are just tactics. Those are just tactics to try and completely compromise your standards. You need psychological discipline to truly say, nope, I don't like that. You need the discipline to listen to your intuition the second that a man is behaving questionably or hurtful. There's nothing like a woman's intuition, guys. It's a blessing from God. This is something that God has personally given women, and it's her intuition. And once you get in tune with that, once you get in tune with what your body is constantly saying to you about a man, your dating experience will change. Easy, it's light work. Guys, deep it. God has given us everything within our bodies, everything and more to discern between men, to discern between which men to allow into our life. Because trust me, as a woman, the only thing you have in this world is your boundaries. Trust me. For example, now, if a man starts cheating, you really don't want to tell you. Your PH will tell you. Anyways, man, I feel like I'm waffling, but all I'm saying is that, like, to all the women out there that are having a hard time, don't be so, like, pessimistic, but rather just be increasingly stern with these men. Like, that's what they need. Like, you need to be very stern.
It really just opened my eyes as to like how hurtful men are.
When you get a minute, go look at that creator's video. It's so sad and just so heartbreaking. And then once you get into the comments, it's like even more sad. Like the stories that are being told about what women are experiencing in the dating world and just how they feel like there's no hope in finding love or relationships because of what they've been through. And so I have been having this conversation with a lot of different people in my lives, my friends, and just trying to discuss like what happened to love. And I have a lot of different theories, and I'm trying to talk very slowly so I can stay focused on one at a time instead of bouncing, so you guys can understand where my brain is going. And so this is probably going to be more focused into like the Black community, because this is where I've been doing my observation from, obviously because I'm Black. But I was trying to explain it to someone, and I was saying like men and women, when we were boys and girls, were raised differently. Women had to grow faster than men in general. And so you take into consideration that Black women are always supposed to be strong. We're often looked at as masculine, right? And so being raised, we were taught to be the nurturers, and that our end game was to be married. And then the boys will be boys. They couldn't express their feelings, especially the generation before and the generation before that. Because you have to think like mentally in a household what that was like. Parents raising their kids, but instead of them being in an environment where they can just be, they had to just be in survival mode, right? So they had to constantly be able to just make sure everyone was safe and not killed. I mean, today too, obviously, but you know, then we were being, and just for no reason, right? So that dynamic and that emotional state in itself was just different. And men weren't supposed to show emotions. At that point, we really didn't have rights, right? So it's just so many different like nuances to this, right? Like, and so then you get to that generation raised their kids, and then you get to the generation after that. So it's kind of like boys don't show their emotions, girls are raised to be nurturers, and then you're here, right? And where the society, like the norms are changing. Like now, mental health is an issue, like important to like take care of. And like now it's okay, men can go to therapy. It's just like kind of being like this aha moment, like it's okay to express how you feel and talk things out, whereas we were already kind of there. So we're in this weird state when it comes to dating where all these things are happening at once. They have to catch up to us. And so we're stuck here just like being, because now we realize the end game doesn't have to be marriage. We can all provide for ourselves now. We can all leave. I know a lot of people said, oh, back in the day, they stayed together for a long time. They kind of didn't have a choice, especially the women. Where were they going to go? Where were they going to work? And those times were dangerous. Like it was safer to be together than to separate. Whereas now we can leave. We have our own jobs. We have our own money. We can literally just leave. And, you throw social media into the mix, and it glorifies trips and materialistic things, and just not diving into what love truly is, what unconditional love is, and how that feels and what that looks like, and what sacrifice truly means, and being empathic, you know, and being able to listen to not respond. I think everyone's so caught up in like, what can you give me? What can I take from you? Instead of just truly being in a relationship and being with someone because they genuinely care for them and love them. I've noticed a lot of it's gone. Or obviously there's great men out there. Obviously there are. But there's a lot, it's a lot you got to get through to get to that good guy. And like she was saying in the video, at some point you're just tired. And someone was like saying, you know, I don't want to be a baby mom. I want to be married and I want to have a family. But then again, you like get married and have the family and then things go south and then you're single again, you know? And so this is just, we're just in a weird limbo. And it's going to take a minute for this shift to change, because if they're not open to like wanting to go to therapy, wanting to get help, there's really nothing that can be done. It doesn't matter how much therapy or help you go get. If they're not willing to grow and do the same, then what's the point? You know, what's the point? So it's basically the parents now need to raise their boys growing up to be a partner that loves, and truly let your kids understand the dynamic of a household and a family. And also understand to talk about your feelings and what you expect coming into a relationship. It's okay to talk about what your expectation is. It okay? And it's okay to realize that you guys might not align, and it's okay. You can find someone else, but something has to give, because this can't be the state of just relationships. Like, if it stays like this any longer, we gonna go extinct just from just not dating. And let's not even talk about the prices of everything, and like we're not even gonna touch on that, because obviously that's another reason why we're not having kids, right? Of course I have a daughter, but I'm not talking about that right now. But I'm just rambling at this point. But I kind of hope that kind of makes sense, my thought process.
They don't give a fuck. And it's just become.
Y'all, it's like way deeper than that. It's like deeper than you think. Like, I hate to be the bearer of like bad news, because like, truth be told, like, the older generation of women my age or whatever, we've been trying to tell y'all. We just don't know how to put it in words. But this is why I follow Princella, the Queen Maker. Now, I know a lot of people bash her, talk shit about her, can't stand her, say, oh, she's trying to make like this lesbian cult. I ain't into girls. Like, I'm not a lesbian. So coming from a heterosexual woman that like men, love men, like, let me break it down to y'all in terms so you know, like, this ain't what we're choosing. This is not the option I'm trying to choose as a woman. I love men. But the big picture of her message is that these men don't have, like, the wiring. Like, they don't get it. It's not clicking. Like, what's not clicking, Steven? It's not clicking. It does not connect for them. They don't have the same level of love. They don't have the same level of empathy and sympathy and all these other things that women naturally have. Like, I don't want to believe that they don't have this. It makes no sense. It's like, why? Like, what you mean? Like, no, like, biologically, and I'm not the one to break this down, because I'm just, you know what I'm saying, I'm just regular juggler that's been hip to the game, and I'm figuring this shit out on my own. Like, oh shit, like, wait, because let's be honest, like, I'll be dead as honest, Princella rubbed me the wrong way when I first started like hearing her mess. I'm like, oh, what she talking about? but she really taught me how to evaluate, how to think, how to like really break down like what a mother be trying to say to you. And I'm not no type of girl that's easily convinced from nobody. Like, you can't just pee on me and tell me it's fucking rain. Like, I'm not going for it. So it took me a second to be like, wait, what? Like, wait, run that shit back. Hold on. Like, I feel like I'm open enough to really listen to talk. So when I went back and I evaluated some of the stuff she was saying, I'm like, oh, okay, well, let me, and I started watching her videos, started understanding, like, all that little gay shit or whatever, oh, I'm a lesbian, it's not even that deep. Like, she just be saying shit, keeping the energy fun or whatever, like, it's not that deep. You do not have to be no lesbian to watch her. It's not even that deep. I'm never gonna be a lesbian. However, I do understand that what I want from men, they just like mentally don't have the equipment to give me what I need and what I want from them. And I hate saying it. I dead ass hate saying, I hate being the one to be like, oh, yeah, well, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want this to be true. I'm 39 years old. I don't want this to be true, but it is what it is. And the faster you kind of understand and get to the point where it's like, you know, at least you have the knowledge to understand what you might be signing up for when you deal with them.
If you're still here, definitely you enjoyed this video just like I did. Let me know your thoughts about this video down in the comment section. I personally enjoyed the video because it was so relatable, you know, especially when you've been hurt by a man before, and not just being hurt, knowing that they know that you're hurt, but they will still be looking at you like, hey, what did I do so bad that you're crying? What did I do so bad that is making you feel this way? It's not that bad, it's a normal thing. Or they just act like telling you sorry will solve everything. But I love the fact that she says she's going to start working on herself. I feel like when women focus on themselves, when women put all their attention on themselves, making themselves happy, trying to make so much money, you know, doing things for just themselves, trying to be selfish just like men, I feel like that is the best revenge ever, because they won't see that you're not even paying so much attention to them and you don't even need them to that point, so they won't even have that opportunity to be able to hurt you anymore, if that makes sense. Because this I can imagine how hurt she what might have happened for her to just decide that she doesn't want to have anything to do with men anymore. And the second stage was saying that she had gone no contact with men for 2 years. Like, those stages were back to back interesting. Let me know your thoughts about this down in the comment section. I feel like I have a lot to say and I can't even bring them out of my words. I can't bring them out of my mouth right now, but I want to hear your thoughts about this down in the comment section. Thank you all so much for sticking around to this point. I hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe. When you subscribe, kindly turn on the post notification bell so you get notified when I upload a video like this one. All right, I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.